Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the iconic sister, mother, teacher, educator, activist, believer, and friend to us all, none other than Sister Fatimah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience, we thank Allah for your patience, your time, and we're excited about having this conversation with you. The first question that we have for you today, ma'am, is when is the first time you heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
The first time I heard the teaching on Elijah Muhammad was when I was 15, and I used to work at the African Market on 125th Street. That's when I had my first summer job. So the African Market was down the street on 125th Street between Lenox and 70 Martin Luther King Boulevard down. And the messenger was right there on 116th Street at the mosque.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And since Fatima, someone is saying that the sound went out just a little bit. Can we turn the sound up a little bit more?
Um, you see, I have my grandson working with me here. So
Yes,
bear
ma'am.
with, bear with me. Better?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Maybe we just stay closer to the speaker and we'll do it like that. We'll do it that way. Yes, ma'am. So you're saying the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on 116th?
He was on 116th Street at the mosque number 7 at that time. And I was 15, having my first summer job. I was on 125th Street at the African Market, which was down the street on Lenox Avenue. And I was making a lot of African jewelry and stuff like that. And my sister worked at Chop Full of Nuts, right? So it was up the street. But we would always, a lot of the Muslims would come inside Chop Full of Nuts and get their coffee. And we would always go down 116th Street to the restaurant to get some food. So I kind of used to always hear different things then. I didn't come into the nation then, but that's when I actually was introduced to the nation.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, then, what was it that made you want to join the nation?
Because, well, my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. And I just never felt that within myself. I was the youngest, and my brothers and my sisters, they got into the nation. I mean, excuse me, into the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I just never felt that was something for me because every time I asked the question, I'd be rejected, directed to another question from them. So my questions was never answered, and I was kind of more like being that I grew up in that, I wouldn't say forced, but I had to deal with it, because my parents was in that. But I wasn't feeling it here.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So now, if this is around what time period do you accept the teachings?
I took the teachers in 1993.
Perfect. Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. And how did your family and friends feel once you accepted the teachings?
How did my family feel?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh man, they thought I was crazy. To go from growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, because I was born into that. Growing up in Jehovah's Witness and coming to a Muslim, like, what are you doing? To this day, they still kind of distance themselves from me because of that decision that I made. But it's okay. Praises to Allah. I'll pray that they come around and see it's the best thing ever happened to me in my life.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And okay, and then I also wanted to ask you, so you go from seeing the Most High Elijah, or you knew that he was there. How did you know the messenger was there? You saw the people. How did you know?
My my daughter's father lived right across the street from my number 716th Street. And so I was out there, used to sit on the steps, stoop out there, that's a New York thing, sit on the steps and hang out. And you could see the front door of my number 7. So I would see the messenger coming out, and at the time I was pregnant with my daughter too. I was
Mm.
1974. And I would see out, and you brothers be all up and down the streets in Harlem. So I would used to hear a lot, final call, they'll come in and chop pulling us when I was in the Mississippi talking, so that's what really kind of grasped my attention. But like I said, I didn't come into the nation. It just was something that sparked me, at that time. And
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't come in at that time because I was just like, you had a whole lot of different people, and different ways of seeing the nation back then in New York. I'm quite sure you're aware that, all kinds of different sects of people, and they all kind of stole the teachings from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and created their own little thing. And I wasn't.
Yes, ma'am. Now, how would the messenger look when you saw him? Like, what would he be wearing?
Well, you always had a suit on,
Okay,
always.
so a suit. Okay, yes, ma'am.
And if I'm not mistaken, sometimes I didn't get a chance to see him with that fez, which I wish I would have, but he would have those hats on. He wore those hats.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
He's sharp, put it that way. He's sharp.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. And assalamu alaikum from Brother Nasir. Thank you very much, Sister Phyllis. Walaikum salam, family. Walaikum salam, Sister Phyllis. And thank you for being a connection. And shout out to Muhammad University of Islam in New York and all the educators and students, all that good stuff. New York City always holding it down. Okay, so yes, ma'am. I also wanted to ask you, can you introduce the viewing audience of the People's Podcast to the sister who stayed with you and her connection to Master Farrakhan Muhammad, or you stayed with and her connection to Master Farrakhan Muhammad?
Okay, that is Mother Cecilia Muhammad, and I think I sent you a picture of her. She was, and I know you have Minister Preston. He knows Mother Cecilia as well, because she comes to the mosque there in Des Moines, Iowa, because that's where I came to the nation at. Believe it or not, I'm from New York, but didn't come to the nation until I got to Des Moines, Iowa. But she come down from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to come to the mosque. And we learned so much from her because at 12 years old, she and her family, well, first, let's start at the beginning. She was in a boarding home back in the 30s. They from Detroit. She was born in Iowa, but they moved to Detroit when they were really young. So back in the 30s, if the parents didn't have any money, and this is quoted from her, when the parents didn't have any money, the children went to boarding homes, right? So her and her brothers and her sisters, they were all in boarding homes. The master brought them back together, went into that boarding home and got them out and brought them back together as a family. I never forget, she told me how she was, when he got her, she was riding in, I think they call a coupe back then, the car that the master drove. She was in the coupe with the master. She said he was now they didn't know he was the master back then, but she said she knew something was special about him because everything was like on point. Down to the part in his hair, she would say that it strands of, she said everything was on point. So he brought them back together and he ate at their home. And she said they didn't have money because back in the 30s, money was they were dead, because, the Depression, there was no money. And she said that he came one time to eat some food at the house. He only had some bean soup, a piece of onion, some canola oil, and they made the bean soup. And she said, the master said, this is the best bean soup I ever had. I was trying to locate the video that when she's speaking, because she did do a show, but she did it from the phone before she passed. She passed in 2012. Yeah, 2012. And she spoke on how he's so humble now that after she knew who he was, after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he came, let them know who he was. And she was like, wow, she knew something was special about him. But she said he had them realize after he's gone that the whole purpose was to let them know that the humbleness, because he could have made sure, he's God. You know what I'm saying? He could have made sure they had everything. But he humbled and ate that bean soup and said it was the best bean soup he ever had. And then she said that this so many things. I'm just kind of nervous because I'm not a front person. And I work with children, but I like to be right on hand with children. So usually if I'm stumbling a little bit here because I'm kind of tired too. But anyway, she said the master, when he ate that bean soup and he said, like I said, he said it was the best the food he ever had. And then they had a little bit of he said some salad from the weeds or whatever. I can't remember exactly because I wish I had the tape so you can hear it yourself. And she said he would say this, they call that food grass. He said, y'all eat grass.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Now, this sister's name is Mother Cecilia. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just trying to. I asked my grandson to take the phone from off of being connected. And can you
Yes,
hear me,
ma'am.
brother?
Yes, ma'am. I can. People are bear witness, saying all praises due to Allah. Beautiful and inspiring. Thank you, Sister Phyllis, and thank you, Sister Kiva, who was showing love in the comments as well. Okay, so yes, ma'am. So this sister, Mother Cecilia, saying that Master Farah Muhammad came to their home, got them out of a
Boarding home. They were
boarding home, drove them in the coupe, and then ate food from them. Did she, and then you saying that she also met the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Building I remember the exact address. I remember the street, the building on Hastings Avenue. That's where the mosque was. That's where they met. I'm with the temple.
In Detroit. Okay. This all took place in Detroit. Praise be to Allah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And did people know of her stories of the mother Cecilia? Did people know her stories?
She, like I said, she did do a phone hookup when Lance Shabazz was having his TV show there in New York. And she did do that. Minister Preston knows the story. He wrote an article on it, and it was in the Final Call, 2005, I believe. Yeah. Mr. Preston, he knows about it. You know, there's a few believers that basically, like I said, she came to Des Moines. I know because I heard Sister Bernstein make a statement. I think when she talked about the tall sister.
Yes, ma'am.
So she was talking about. So yeah. So a few people, I don't know them offhand as like that because I know what Mother still had explained to me because I was living in Cedar Rapids at the time. So I was always over at her house and she used to tell me how when the Muslims would come to the homes because they didn't have phones, there was a certain knock that they would do at the door, right? And that was a Muslim, And then things about the Savior's Day, they got apples, delicious apples from up in Washington, state of Washington. And they broke their fast with the delicious apples, because they didn't have any money. So that was what they had broke their first Savior's Day with when they was after the master left. And that was the first Savior's Day that they had amongst themselves with the delicious apples. It's a lot. I better for you to ask me questions because that way I can go answer on the better.
Yes, ma'am. That's beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Okay, I'm glad that we got in the final call and people got the video and all of that. This is amazing history. Anything dealing with the Savior, of course, and then this is firsthand primary source. So that's beautiful. Okay, I wanted to ask you. You sent me a picture of the minister being the Honorable Minister Farrakhan being in New York. And I want to say your grandchildren in the picture as well. Can you let us know how that came about?
Okay, that was I was living in New York at the time. I think that was 12 or 2013. And his secretary passed. And he came to the funeral, janaza. And he came to the MGT class. I don't think he was really expecting the minister to come. It was the last minute thing. And so they had some bean soup. If you see my granddaughter has an apron on. So she was serving them. She was one of the servers for the minister, and she had served him the bean soup. And then he was like, "It's cayenne pepper. I gotta have some cayenne pepper." He's just Minister Farrakhan. He's just a real. He's just so real. You know. And so she told me she brought him a plate of fish. I don't want that. Give me the bean soup.
Mm, 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 mm.
you know. And so that's how that actually came about was, he came, then he stopped at the mosque, and it was MGT class on a Saturday. So he came to see the sisters, and Mother Khadija was with them. And I think his daughter Holiday and Fatima was with him as well. And that was really that was a blessing. That made the whole Saturday worthwhile. And then he made sure he walked down the aisle and greeted everybody as he could. And if you notice, you see how he's holding on to my grandson, right? And my granddaughter, he asked him on the show. And my grandson, see how little he was trying to get away. And he said, the minister leaned down to, you stay right here with me. Right? I told him to this day, I said, now that you old, I said, the minister was trying to tell you something. He wasn't just talking about stay with him at that moment in time. He was telling me, no matter what, stay with him. And my granddaughter, she was on the other side, and they young. I had raised them because my daughter, their mom, was murdered in Des Moines, Iowa. And so I was able to be that blessing in their life to give them. She was MDT, but things went kind of, sometimes it goes south a little bit, but okay, because when the law wants you, he's gonna make you go all kinds of ways, but then bring you right back to a 360. And so she was murdered by my grandson here by his father, and then he murdered him. So it was a long story, but I don't want to go into that. We went through half the thing. And so basically that was how they came into being around me, and they basically grew up into the teaching. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing for them. And he's still, he's holding on to his best of ability. I don't know. He's kind of like, he feels like, leaving New York because Brother Elijah was his junior high captain.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
He drilled, and he did. So moving here to Kansas City, Missouri, that was like a culture shock. They're like, what's really going on? So I let them, you let their hand go and let Allah take their hand. That's all. So that. But I got to tell them, I always remind them of that picture because it stays right up on my wall right here. I say, you see the minister, never with the minister, you stay with me. So I don't even have to say too many more words. I just keep that in his head. I say, you see how he got y'all? He's letting you know what time it is. So yeah.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful, and people were showing love to you all around the world. The Minister Louis Farrakhan, secretary was Sister Mary, 43X. Yes, beautiful. She was the one who the young girls followed the minister down in the temple when it was being attacked. Oh, beautiful, beautiful history. And Sister Phyllis wants to know 147 Savage. Thank you for always showing love. My brother Flint, Michigan, representing. What did Sister Cecilia do as Master Farah Muhammad's secretary? This from Sister Phyllis.
No, she wasn't the secretary. Yeah. What's the question again? What did she do
as the secretary?
No, Bernstein was the secretary.
No. What did she do for Master Farah Muhammad's secretary?
Oh, well, her mother, Florence Muhammad, her mother Florence taught in the school. Mother still taught the school at 12. I have a card. I wish I had these things together. She wrote his birthday card to me, and her penmanship was so excellent, brother. I thought it was brought like that. The card that she did me,
yes,
I thought it was brought like that. So she helped at the school with penmanship. Her mother was the one who actually helped and taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad how to read. Yes, her name is Florence. It's all in that article. Mr. Preston, he knows about that. Yeah.
That's incredible history.
She has, her cousin said he was going to send it to me. She has the first ID look still that the master gave them, where if you notice how I put her name, Muhammad was spelled Mohammed back then at that time. ID card.
That's incredible.
And I mean, it may not sound like much, to some folks, but that's a serious history.
Absolutely.
God, I shared it when I came in the nation. I still had a little hard time believing that God came first and not Toronto. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Was speaking to me about the master because she met with the master. She said the master said family is important. Family must learn to stay together. And now as I've grown in the nation, I realize not just your blood family, but we family is, we got to stick together. I was in school together today. When I first called you and asked you, I was with my students, and I was with ninth graders. The topic, we was doing social studies. The topic was on, I forgot, it was called Reconstruction the South. I got it here with me because we had to go through this article. And it was about the war, Civil War, and the South and how the South was demolished. So I asked my students, I said, do you see any way that this article relates to right now, today? I said, because everything in the past has a significance to right now. So they said, well, no, not really. I said, but do you read when it says the house and the farms was demolished, the highways, the bridges, everything was demolished back then in the South, like Atlanta, where you from? Because we read about it. All that stuff was demolished. And so one of the students said, well, yeah, Gaza and Palestine, your places. I said, no, I want you to bring it home. You see that here? He said, well, yeah, because the fire in California, it looks like a war zone. I said, but did a man do it? Well, no, Mother Nature. God, Mother Nature. God. What they say. But see, this is my way of bringing it. You got to deal with this public, so you got to bring it in a way the minister said, bring the teachers, but bring it in a smooth way.
Yes, ma'am.
That type of way for them. And they said, you're right. So I told them, I said, our unity is important. I said, you see this? Mr. T ain't going to be here too long. You my future. You guys are my future. And I want a better future. But if you always got your head down in this, in that computer, in that TV, you're never going to get it. I'm not telling you this is wrong, but I'm telling you must have a balance. And the balance is, yes, use that to study, because the minister said, fun is studying. I said, not study what they tell you to study. Go to the library. Use the internet to study, to learn. Because they're not giving you your history. They're not telling you Black history. They're not telling you none of that. So get your history by you going to say. I said, when I lived in New York, I said, I used to go to the library, right? And the section that they call the reference section that you can't take things out, you have to copy it and all that kind of stuff. I said, I used to go to those sections. Just stay there. That's where the truth was. Oh, wow. Right. So I always, I try to encourage my young people, we got to stay united as a family. And the only way you're going to get to know your purpose, you have to start to understand you. Stop hating on each other, because Minister Ishmael came out here on November 23rd to speak to the youth, because Kansas City here, Missouri, for such a little place like this, had so many murders within the beginning of last year. And now we just had about 12 already. We ain't even out of January. Hating, don't like the way this one looks. Don't like what this one got. You're killing each other over unnecessary stuff. I said, learn to find the gift that God gave you. And the only way you're going to be able to find that is stop wasting all that energy on hating on your brother and look within you and find the God within you. Do that. And it's like, yeah, you're right. I said, because I had some pencils, right? I took one pencil. I thought about Minister Lori, student Minister Lori, when he said, about the crafters. So I said, well, you take this one pencil, and I broke it. I said, see how easy it is to break? I grabbed a whole bunch of pencils. I said, it's hard to break, right? That's how our unity is. I told him, I said, snow, rain, no two same. Each snowdrop, raindrop, snowflake, all different. We, just like that, we all different. But if we come together, you know what we can do? I said, you're my future. So they asked me to come back. But you know what's so sad? They don't. I could see they didn't want me back. Because I sub, I go to different places and teach, right? They didn't want me back, but the students kept asking me to come back. So that's why, to me, it's very important that we have our own school. I cannot stress that enough, brother, that these schools, if you look it up, in 1902, and J.D. Rockefeller spoke on, they spent $129 million and started the general school education. He quoted it, look it up yourself, everybody look it up yourself, the general education system. He said, I don't want thinkers, I want workers. So they're being groomed to be still the slave mentality, which Willie Lynn said. They'll be free physically, but mentally. So they don't teach your mind. They just teach you how to go make some money and keep their business going. As I told them, I said, what you know how to do, young lady? What you know how to do? Start doing stuff for yourself. A lot of them told me they wanted to be real estate. A lot of them, it's sad how the young brothers, I want to be an NFL star. I said, that's not work. That's really important play. That's just having fun. I'm talking about what are you going to do to build up and bring in a new world order? I want you to think about that. See, they don't want them to think. They want them just to dribble a ball, kick a ball, So that's why I understand now when Mother Cecilia said the master said family is important. And he wasn't just talking about your immediate family. We all family. We all family. So if we would come together with the gifts that Allah gave us, overnight, the Quran tells us overnight. See, and it is. You just got to see that. Just got to see that. It's, I love working with the children because I get a little slack here and there, but they listen. The biggest problem is Minister spoke on a tape August the 14th, August 17th, 2014. He said the generation gap is that the older folks, yes, I'm an older folks, but I hate young people. I'm keeping real. The older folks, he said, because you're still trying to hold on to the American way and try to incorporate that into, that's not going to work. Can't serve them now. We have to let go. We have to have that faith as a mustard seed that if I hold on to these teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that was given to him by Master Farrakhan Muhammad, it's going to be all right. Minister told us, 2015, Savior's Day. He said the victory is ours.
That's right.
No spook God. The God in you, you have to start working on them voices in your head. Master. No. You the master of you. Find the God in you and start to serve that God. You've been born into sin, shaped into iniquity. Well, how do you come out of that? You come out of that by getting control of your thoughts. Because that's what the brown germ is, the thought. The thought. Kill them thoughts within you. That's why the minister told us, Surah 113 and 114, the sleeping serpent, sticky devil that whispers to the hearts of the, that's you.
Yes, ma'am.
You ain't gonna know the God in you or no. What you talking about? You don't fool God. It's the God in you. So now you didn't kill that spirit. Now what happens? You start serving Satan. No, kill that devil within you and start doing what Allah wants you to do. And this is what I explained. That's how we become the family. Okay, we may have differences. Well, what is the message here? Proper way of handling people. Settle your differences. Do we agree to disagree? But then once you come deep into more understanding, you're really not disagreeing. It's just you got one and what 0 and 7 makes 7, 1 and 6 makes 7, 2 and 5 makes 7, 3 and 4 makes 7. But what they came to. So it's different viewpoint, but if it all comes into one mind, which is the mind of Almighty God Allah, who came to the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, just be humble. You know, I was reading in the morning. That's my prayer. I read Farrakhan the Traveler. Brother Jabril gave us some jewels. I mean, it's in everything you read, but he gave us some jewels. See, a lot of us can come and quote the teachings and be good at it, but that's not what it's about. Knowledge, wisdom, that's fine. You got it. We lack the understanding. And what is the be and it is, make it happen.
Yes, ma'am.
I love Brother Noy because he's a deep brother. He said, you see this total? He said it was a thought. Again, somebody made it happen. You get these thoughts, don't throw them to the curb. If it's in line with righteousness, make it happen. Because right now, only thing that needs to get off the earth is the evil that's going evil. That's what burdens the earth. But the buildings and stuff, it all came from earth. That's what's burdening the earth. What's burdening the earth is the evil. Allah didn't make the earth into evilness. He made it for right.
That's right.
Not be. And I just trust me, I'm humbly saying, I'm just a nobody. Trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save everybody. Which is Allah God who came in the person of Master Muhammad, his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the beautiful man in our midst today, the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan. You can't, you don't set those on feet, you might as well move around with me. And I mean, because I don't care. That's why I wasn't in my relationship that I was in, because that person didn't want to feel that the minister was who he is. They had issues with that. That's my daddy. That's my granddaddy. The master's my great granddaddy. It's set, don't walk. Hey, it is what it is. You know, so this is beautiful. This is a beautiful life, brother. This is the life. Life teachers, life-giving teachers. This is the life.
Wow, you teaching, Sister Cecilia?
Wrapped up in it. And I know you want to ask me some more stuff, brother. I'm just, now you got me. Now you loosen me.
Yes, ma'am. Well, everybody's being witness in the comments. Knowledge. Thank you very much, Walaikum Salam. And of course, Sister Phyllis. Thank you to Brother Kente, Brother Musa, Sister Hope, Sister Auntie, Sister Duke. Brother Duke. Everybody who shows love from all, and that's Brother Duke's from Canada, and people who show love from all around the world. Thank you very much. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you to the 10,000 subscribers. We truly appreciate all of the People's Podcast affiliates. Thank you to each and every anonymous Cash App. It helps keep the podcast going. 1 second. And we're coming right back to our illustrious guest, Sister Fatimah Muhammad. 1 second. This is great history, and we truly appreciate you, Sister. 1 moment.
Appreciate y'all.
He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much. Thank you everyone who was watching all around the world. Here we go, boom. And Sister Phyllis, Sister Fatimah, please take your time, drink your water. We just want to make sure that we thank everyone. Here we go. Thank you. I'm reading all the comments. Thanks to everybody who's watching. and right back to our guest. Okay, ma'am. The next question that we have for you is, speaking of being, there are a lot of mothers out there who need advice and want and desire advice. What advice would you give to future mothers as well, just mothers in general?
In general, as a mom, like I said, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, and I'm a great grandma.
Okay, beautiful.
27 grand and great together, and 5 children, but 2 were murdered here in Des Moines, Iowa, you know. And that's a blessing. I know a lot of people say, how do you, because sometimes Allah gotta take what's close to you to get your attention. Not my attention, you know? Because children bury you don't bury children. And so things had to happen. So you want, as a parent, as a mother, because I'll just share a little bit. We in MGT class, and we're learning about how to give birth to a God. We listened to that lecture. But it doesn't only speak on how to give birth to a physical child, but how to give the birth to the God within yourself, so that your mind is already prepared. So when you go to that next level, which is the last level, the physical level of giving birth to a child, your mind has already been trained with the God. So that child's coming out, what? You got scientists and, oh my goodness. So be careful of what we put in our mind, because we are always being watched by our children. Always. When you think they're not watching, they're watching. So be very careful of what we do in front of them, even not in front of them. Because they have what you as a child, we all, you know how freaky we were when we were children, you know, hiding around the corner and doing, they watching. So always try to do the right thing. And if you fall, as the minister said, don't beat yourself up. Just get up. Get up. Because you got to think about it. When the child starts crawling, then they start trying to walk, they fall down a couple times till they get it. That's the same way with our development. But don't stay there. Don't get comfortable there. I remember the Minister Ishmael years ago when the Matrix came out, right? And if you remember that one cipher, remember he said, I don't want to stay here. I'd rather be in illusion pretending I'm eating the steak and drinking wine.
That's right.
Eating the sackcloth and the porridge, whatever they was eating. Because he was too much into the physical things. But he didn't realize your mind is free now to be with God, giving you from day one to be. Your mind is free for that. But you want to be a Lazarus, lazy or us, to do the work on yourself, to get up and do for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes, as mothers, we wind up doing a lot of things to be making ends meet for our babies, because there's a lot of single moms, you know. But you got to put your trust in Allah and make Allah sufficient for all your needs. And I'm not just saying, I'm speaking from personal experiences that I've walked through. That you give it to Allah, it's going to bless you. And if you do the right thing, as I think it was, you know, I don't even remember who be talking. I just remember the lecture, you know. But it said, a well-made man. Don't be, my biological clock is kicking. You look at these teachers, he said, you be like you're 16 years old again. What you talking about? Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. It's how you eating, how you thinking, how your spirituality is. If you eating properly, the right food, the right spiritual food, the right material things, you can't go wrong. But it's left up to us, you know. Like I tell the children all the time, I'm just a messenger, but I'm dropping the seed so that you could see and make choices. Because we the only creation Allah gave free will to. Everything else on planet submit. Birds, the bees, the tree. We're the only ones But we got to realize by submitting to Allah, the Lord, the God, the everything, every all power and force of everything in existence, if you submit to Him, how could you go wrong? He makes the trees that the money come off. You know, so just submit to God. He got this, and be patient. That's a big problem because it's the problem. We made it to haste. Man was created in patience. So that's something we have to learn. And you got people. That's one thing Mother Sister always said. You know, I hate that word, patient. Mm-hmm. But I understand where she was coming from. But I also understand it is important that we learn patience. Because a day with Allah is like 1,000 years. So how in the world I'm looking for gratification, instant gratification? Because you know, when a baby's born, the baby come out, the baby wants instant gratification. They want the breast, they want the bottle, they want to be changed, they want whatever. They want that right then and there. We the same way as we get older. And then if we don't get it, we throw in these tips and challenges. That's why the state self-improvement, the basis of community development is so very important. Especially, I love number 18. Rise above emotions into the thinking of Almighty God. Because we get so emotional, and that's how I lost it. The lesson I learned by losing my children, emotion can get you killed, or it can cause you to do something because you're emotional. So as I always tell, I got this from Minister Preston's wife, because she was my captain when I came in the morning diary. She's a good captain. I ain't gonna lie, Sister Constance was on point. She did not play. And her captain was Sister Marie Farrakhan. You know? So and she was, Sister Constance didn't play. She did not play. Did not play at all. But you know what she always told us about emotion? She said, you have emotion. Take the E out of emotion, which is energy. Now what you got? Emotion. Think. A lot of things rational. We say we move into his mind and let's be rational. If you make me mad, I go out and kill you. I'm gonna get the case for that. I did that over emotion. I didn't think what can happen if I do what I feel like I'm gonna do. As I said, when you're on fire, what do? You don't run, you burn up. You stop, you drop, and you roll. Same thing with emotions. And as women, back to the mothers, as women, we're very emotional creatures, very emotional. So we really got to get a grip. That's the main thing I say to all mothers, all sisters. Get control over your emotions, because it can be detrimental. Think like, oh, we say we move into God's mind. Make it a God. Think rational. Yeah. So emotion, energy is matter. Matter is energy. You take that energy out of emotion, and now this is scientific. Now you have energy and you have matter. The matter is to move into the mind of God. Will God do that? That's what you got to ask yourself. Think 5 times and you might be right. No, we don't do that. Piss me off. I'm going to get him. I'm going to do. That's how we move. But then I didn't think about the way they got all these forensics. They'll find it was me, and next thing I'm sitting in jail. So too late, they gone. So think, this is please. It's very, very important for our babies. And I know it's hard. It's hard. Because, hey, what the minister said, they put a lot on the Black woman. A lot. And then that's when we both come in, the Black man and the Black woman. That's why I said, be patient. Make a well-made man for you. Be patient. Don't go get married just because you want to say you got a man. Ain't no real man. You know what baby mama? He saw my crib, my baby mama. Look at everything. You know, so you want a man, made man of God. Wait on the line. You have it to. But you got to do the work. That's what the minister said. The victory is ours. We just got to do the work. What's the work? First work is work on yourself. Get rid of them voices in your head. The devil in there telling you one thing, a lot. Come on.
You teaching?
Get him under control. Get him under control. It's not hard. The Lord's He's gonna make us. He said, Mr. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you don't believe that the devil's the devil. So I'm gonna set him out on you. Or Trump already sent 1,000 people back.
Yes, ma'am. These are facts. Okay, now, Sis Fatimah, I just want to let you know people are bearing witness all around the world. Brother King says, that's right. That's good teaching, ma'am. Sister Phyllis says, that's right, Sister Fatimah. Brother Ahmad put the prayer hands. All praises due to Allah. And thank you. Thank you to everybody who's watching and showing love all around the world. We truly appreciate all of the love. I wanted to ask you, what type of music do you enjoy listening to?
I like jazz. I like reggae. I like R&B.
Okay.
I love music. My grandson and Mass Giant, they unmasked giants. That's the young brothers.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
They be making some. They had me bear witness to some of the things. Well, that's my little brothers. They all get them when they hear the phone. They be like, "Hi, Grandma." That's my little brothers. You know, I like that. You know why? Because the music, like the minister said, in the same year too, 2015, he said, just make your music where you talk with your people. Not all this, just I'm the B, I'm the H, I'm the this, no. Make it where you touch their mind. They did this song, and they was getting into knowledges of the earth. 196,940,000 miles. Did you ever heard that one from them? Oh man, they got brothers, they got down. I have music going on. I love music. That brings a lot of peace to me as long as it's proper music. Proper. All that other stuff cussing, I be like, man, and I see you got a lot of people around there without that wall that year.
Yes, ma'am. And people are bearing witness in the comment. So Brother King says, thank you for this. He's going to FOY class, just pulled up. Thank you very much for showing love before you went to FOY class. Thank you to everybody who watches on their way to FOY class. We truly appreciate you. Okay, now, Sis Fatimah, we want to know, what would you like your legacy to be now?
What would I like? Well, I want to make sure, because I have real quick. I'm a licensed herbologist. I make different remedies and stuff for healing.
Okay.
You know, and I want that to go on further, you know, because it's so much important in what I do. Like I have how would I say it? I stick to the old fashioned way, the tonics, you know, with the herbs. And
yes,
I
ma'am.
do it with the purple sea moss, berries that literally works against this corona and all these other viruses out. And the thing about it, one of the herbs that's in, I can't tell my whole secret because but one of the herbs is the herb that what's the stuff that everybody says, taximon. I forgot the name of that one, but it's the natural herb of what that does. Yeah.
And what is the name of the herb, ma'am?
Well, is neem. Neem. Neem.
Neem. Perfect. She's going to get the herb. And thank you to everybody else who's watching.
Sister Phyllis put me in. New York had a gala back in November. Was there, and they had a black book. Sister Phyllis, beautiful sister. My father's love that sister. And plus, she's my auditor. We do auditing from over the phone. That's beautiful. She put my card in the book that they did. I haven't seen the book yet. This is my card.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And she put that in there. My website is on that. It's in the book. My website is on it, so you can go. I'm gonna update. Let's use it because I was creative, and I'm not. As you see me, kept getting my grandson to get over. I'm not so much with the computer like that. Everybody's like I said, all of us got something that Allah gave us. So I created it the best of my ability, but I'm going to work on my website. I'm looking much more. I want to even more effective what it is, be more pleasing. But yeah, different things is on my. I have what meme is compared to that capsimonium. How you say that stuff? What's the name of it? That herb that everybody's using in the nation.
The Paximune.
Paximune. Okay. You go to my website. I have the herb that I have in my stuff, and it shows you how it does the same thing. Only different. That's totally the herb. Neem is powerful. I know a lot of people probably heard of neem, but they don't know the essence. When you put neem with different herbs, it does a whole. Oh man! And I do mine with the purple sea moss because you have different types of sea moss, but the purple sea moss is directly from Jamaica, from West Indies, so it carries more potence than that other sea moss. And I have a friend that's in Jamaica, and they sent me the herbs from over there. Well, not the herbs, but the sea moss. And I put different curry in it too. Really, it's powerful stuff. And I bear witness because just before I moved here to Kansas City, and I was still living in Des Moines, so I was supposed to move in July here. One of the brothers, he brought a whole lot of property here, and so I moved. This was his house, and I'm in now, and he moved with his wife and children. So I moved in this house. And he really fixed it up beautiful. Oh my God, beautiful. Let me check because it's prayer time, but I don't make that up.
Okay, but yes, ma'am. Okay, that's okay. And welcome, salam, Sister Naima. Thank you for watching and showing love. Per usual, thank you for holding it down today, Naima. Love you. May Allah continue to bless you. Brother Perry Jones, all praises to Allah for our beloved sister Fatima when the East Coast is in the house. Okay, so people are showing love from New York, all of the boroughs and.
Oh yes. Man, I can't. Well, I hope I'll be here, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I might bury that. Methuselah lived to be 900. Who knows? But I can't wait till we come to that genuine, just loving your brothers and sisters for who they are. Because that's, oh man, brothers, we need to get there. Aren't we tired of hateness, the evilness, the meanness? So I watch my babies in the school. I'm from pre-K all the way to 12th grade. And they're angry. And most of the teachers there, they don't come. I couldn't even say it can't be about the money because teachers get underpaid. Teachers should get what doctors get because you working on the brain. Damn, we don't get that. But they don't care. They be in the conference room talking about the children and carrying on. I'm like, look at why are you here then? If this that child so bad, why are you here? Because I don't bite myself when it comes to certain things. I'm like, why are you here? If that child is so bad and you got all this to say, but you don't have no input in how to make it better, then you need to not even come. You need to stay home. All to me about some money. There ain't no money.
Yes, ma'am.
Check the paycheck.
People are bearing witness saying, beloved. Okay, yes, ma'am. Sister Fatimah, how can people get your products?
Like I said, well, I have this website on here. But Sister Phyllis, if she could probably tell you how they can get that book, because I know the book is supposed to be open to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
My stuff there, she could probably text it to you how they can get all the information is right on my card.
Praise be to Allah. And Sis Fatimah, on that positive note, inshallah, I look forward to meeting you in person. This has been a yes, ma'am. There you have it. And this has been a phenomenal interview. Thank you again, Sister Phyllis, and thank you to everyone you named. Minister Preston, please, you all go back and watch his interviews. Sister Constance, ma'am.
Brother, I it's from here in Kansas City. You just talked about a couple of weeks back.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The student minister there. Yes, ma'am.
Carrie,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
pioneered for the idea.
Oh, the brother who's 84.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And shout out to him and all his family, his grandchildren. They used to live in Atlanta, so we know them. So yeah, shout out to them as well. All right. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for watching.
All of y'all.